I dreamed I was missing.
How's it going, guys? Great to see you all again. Awesome having you back here with me. Today we're going to be briefly going through report writing. The first report we're going to be looking at is an informative report. So informative, right? So what is an informative report, you may be asking yourself? Well, quite easy. An informative report is when you're providing quite a lot of information that you're getting from someplace, and then you're presenting it then to your team or even possibly your manager, right? So informative report, you are gaining information, you are getting information, and then you are then providing that information, disseminating that information to your team. All right, let's think about the first thing you need for a report. First thing you always need is what we call a purpose statement. Purpose statement? What is he talking about? You may be asking. Well, in a nutshell, a purpose statement is quite simply, you're just telling the reader what your report is all about. That's it really, right? So you're just explaining to the reader what your report is about. It doesn't have to be like a long paragraph, but just a simple, short and sweet sentence, which tells the reader, okay, this report is about this or that. Okay. After your purpose statement, you will then have what we call your subtopics. Subtopics. And you can have various subtopics, maybe 2, maybe 3, even possibly 4, all right? And this is where you give the information. This is where you're going to be discussing the information in sections, all right? So let's have a good example here. Let's say you've been tasked by your boss to make a business deal in South Korea. You've got to go to Seoul. You need to make a big business deal there with, I don't know, Samsung or Hyundai, all right? So it's really important that you go there and initially by yourself and get information about the country. You bring that information back with you and then you present it to your team. All right. So let's make an example here. Let's make a purpose statement. So exploring the social and cultural aspects of Korean culture and perhaps business etiquette. Okay, so that's your heading. So someone who reads that will know exactly what your report is about. Okay, and then you're going to go into your subtopics there, right? So let's make a first subtopic. So you could put greeting etiquette. Greeting etiquette, what does it mean by that? You're probably asking. Well, as you know, in the West, we always shake with our hand when we meet someone for the first time, especially when doing business. But in the Asia Pacific region, in particular South Korea and Japan, people make a bow, right? That's part of the culture. They make a bow. So always bear that in mind. Okay, so that information that you've just got there, you're going to bring that back with you to your company and you're going to share that with your team. All right. Second thing you can look at is social aspects of doing business. Social aspects, what does that mean? Well, social aspects relate to after you've made a business deal. Normally in those countries such as Japan and South Korea, it's really important that you go out and socialize, okay, with the people you've just made the business deal with, right? So you're going to go out afterwards, maybe have dinner and so forth. Or in South Korea, they love karaoke, as does Japan, right? So it's important you bring this information back with you, right? And compile it in your report, right? So we have the greeting etiquette and socializing, we have there as well. Maybe you can have a bit on the history of the country as well. History is really important because if you understand and study the history of a country, you can understand the people more, the culture more, right? So they're quite interlinked, history and culture, right? For example, if you learn about the history of South Korea or Japan, you will have more understanding of the people and what to say and what not to say, because sometimes history can be quite sensitive. You may say something that may offend someone relating to the history of the country. But if you're aware of it, you're less likely to do that. Okay, so you've got your information in your subtopics. You're going to write it up in your report, and then you're going to present it to your team. All right. So first thing, they're going to know how to greet people in South Korea to make a very good impression. That's really important. They know that socializing is really important after making a business deal. All right. You don't want to just not turn up to the karaoke, or you don't want to not just turn up to having a meal together, because it can make a bad impression, right? So you'll be aware of this, right? And you'll remember, okay, this is really important. I don't really want to go, but I should go. Otherwise, I may end up offending, okay, these people I'm making a business deal with. And then you know about the history of the country and people, society, so you won't say anything offensive perhaps to those people. You'll be aware of what's sensitive and what's not, right? And so you're going to write that in your report, right? In the subtopics. That's where you're going to go into the detail. Okay, and that's your report, right? That's your informative report. Everything I've mentioned is information relating to that country, right? That'll help you succeed in getting that good business deal. All right? Awesome, guys. So that is your informative report. Let's move on to the next one. See you soon. Take it easy and stay awesome.